Hi, this is Alex Helmbrecht, the Sports Information Director at Chadron State College, and I'm sitting here with Chadron State women's basketball coach Tim Connealy. The Eagles, it's hard to believe, but the Eagles are about to begin the 2011-2012 women's basketball season. They'll open this weekend at Montana State University Billings on Saturday afternoon. We'll get a little bit to that game here in a little bit. But, Coach, first of all, finished 2010-2011 probably not the way that you wanted to, 6-20 overall. Unfortunately, about two or 3 weeks into the season, you lost returning All-American guard Caitlin Petrie, and then just the season kind of had ebbs and flows after that. However, Caitlin Petrie's back. Everyone else who played a prominent role in that team is back, and so you got to be happy with what you have for this season.
Yeah, I feel like we got a veteran group back for the first time since I've been here, and I think last year we had a lot of kids grow, and get a lot better throughout the course of the year. And I think you saw that growth, especially late in the year when we started to piece together, a couple big wins. And it was good to see that. I know it was trying at times, but the kids stayed the course and they kept improving. And hopefully with getting Caitlin back and having these kids, a little more game ready, hopefully we're a little more prepared this year.
I know that I've talked to you a lot about how a player like Caitlin Petrie, you know what you're going to get. She's a consistent player, but however, you got to be happy with the progression of players like Lexi Smith, Marla Munson, Kata Williams, and then, of course, Rachel Smith and Katie Ranta, Sadie Wall, all those girls who received more minutes and more shots last year because of Caitlin's absence.
Yeah, absolutely. These kids have really, like I said, grown up a lot. Marla Munson looks like she's poised to have a really good year. Sadie Wall had a good offseason. Katie Ranta. I mean, all those kids you just mentioned have gotten noticeably better, over the course of last year and this summer and preseason, So hopefully we'll be a lot deeper this year and we'll have a lot more options, offensively and defensively.
It's been a busy preseason for you guys. You've played about 3 or 4 exhibition games and unfortunately lost Kelsey Scott, a 3-year starter, a post player, and really a fan favorite around here. But unfortunately, she had a career-ending injury when she suffered a concussion.
Yeah, it's a tough loss, and I feel terrible for her. It's not how she wanted to end her career. She put in 3 really, really good years for us. And some of those, through the course of those 3 years, there were some trying times, and she was always kind of that beacon of light there that stayed positive, stayed motivated, always worked extremely hard. And, it looked like, we were going to, it was going to pay dividends this year. And unfortunately, this injury happened. But I think she's, taking it very well and taking it in stride, and she's still going to be a part of our team and help us, coach the post players, and she's already doing a great job with that. So I commend her for how she's handling the situation.
Yeah, she's definitely accepted that role, and one of her strengths, probably her greatest strength as a player, was communication, and so she'll be a big asset for you guys as the season progresses. Coach, talk a little bit about the new players that you've added. Really kind of a nice mix. So you brought in a junior college player, a Division I transfer, and then a couple of freshmen.
Yeah, we added a little bit of depth in the post with 2 transfers. One, Greer Babb, originally from Papillion, Nebraska. She transferred in from the University of Maine, and she gives us some size that we haven't had in the past. She's 6'3", she's long, she can move pretty well, and she's an extremely hard worker. And she comes in with 3 years of eligibility, so she'll only be a sophomore. And then we got a post from Wilston Community College in North Dakota, Taryn Mcpherson, originally from Melbourne, Australia, and she'll be a junior. And she kind of has a little bit of that international feel to her game, a little bit of a finesse player, doesn't like to get overly physical, but finishes really, really well around the basket, very acrobatic. And then we brought in 3 freshman guards. One, Kate Symington from Bakersfield, California, who's a very athletic kid, very skilled. I think down the road she's going to be a good player for us. We got a guard out of Buffalo, Wyoming, Dallas Shaw, who I think is going to have an immediate impact. A very offensive-minded kid, very good shooter, good passer, can handle the ball, so I think she's going to help. And then Hattie Guzman, a local kid from Scottsbluff, is a very, very athletic kid, very strong defender, so I'm anxious to see, where she's going to fit into the mix.
Coach, you of course opened at Montana State Billings, a team you played twice last year and actually defeated both games. What do you kind of know about them, or have you mainly just been focusing on yourselves?
Just ourselves, because we're not going to know a lot about them. They're a pretty young team. They lost a few seniors. I know that they signed some really good players. I know they have a couple really good guards coming back, but for the most part, there was a lot of turnover on their roster, and we're unable to obtain any game film from them this year based on this being our first game. They did play a couple exhibition games, but due to contractual obligations, they weren't allowed to exchange any film. So we're just kind of focusing on us right now and making sure what we're trying to accomplish offensively and defensively, we're executing.
And following Saturday's season opener, really is kind of a trying stretch for Chadron State. They will play at the University of Wyoming on Thursday, November 17th, and then that'll be followed right away with a game on Saturday against Wayne State. That'll be an afternoon game, and that's actually the home opener here at 4 p.m. So, Coach, you're probably going to know a lot about your team in the next 14 days.
Yeah, we're going to learn a lot, and hopefully it's good. That's probably going to be the toughest 2-game stretch we have this year. When you look at going on the road and playing a Division I opponent in the University of Wyoming and then having a quick turnaround. We only get 1 day off, and then we're at home playing Wayne State, who's a top 10 team in the country, and has an outside shot at really competing for a national championship. So that's going to be a good 2-game stretch for us. I think it'll really help prepare us for our MAC games once we, get into some of those tough weekend games where you're playing 2 games in 2 days or 2 games in 3 days. So hopefully we come out and we execute well and we can perform well that week.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck to you. It's going to be an exciting season for Chadron State women's basketball. You guys tip off this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. at Montana State Billings. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, Alex.